David Lee Roth, there's not enough time in the day to talk about what happened there.
Hi, I'm George the Antique Nomad. Come with me as I wander the country in search of valuable vintage, amazing antiques, and cool collectibles. We'll buy, sell, and trade at antique malls, shops, and shows, estate sales, flea markets, thrift stores, anywhere people go to find really interesting things that just aren't made anymore. So come on, let's go! He has a lot of things that some of you folks will like because a lot of it is Fenton, including this very pretty little bird.
And I didn't think it was signed until it's on the wing underneath.
It's underneath the wing, yeah. Fenton did some surface signatures that you don't see as often, but I do see the signature of the artist, which is upside down to the rest of the piece. M. Michalik is the signature on this particular piece. And it's really nicely painted. And how did you get it?
Oh, flea market.
Flea market. Yeah, you are the best flea market shopper, I'll tell you. Tell me what you got, what you paid for it.
$5.
Wow. Okay. That's pretty great. I don't actually see the opalescent like this that often. Yeah, I thought it was nice too. I mean, conservatively $35 to $50, I would think. Nice. Somewhere in there. This is a neat paperweight, and it's very heavy and well made.
It's 2000 Millennial Waterford.
It's one of the Waterford lines, yeah. I've just been starting to pick these up. I think they're really great. They did a number of different patterns, and this is the Times Square 2000, so it's supposed to look like the ball that drops on Times Square, which is also made by them, so it's just a miniaturization of the same. I had this same piece for sale recently, and I did sell it, but mine did not have this interesting etch on the bottom, which I have not seen before. So apparently there's some different varieties of these. Another flea market find?
No, estate sale.
Estate sale. And what did you give for this? $5. Yeah, see, this is the thing. A whole lot of people are getting Waterford as gifts and not realizing that it's something special, and then when they're tired of it, they throw it at, oh, well, 2000's over, we'll put it in the garage sale. So it's I think the piece I sold, I either got 40 or 45 for it.
Good.
Yeah. Ah, yes, and this Viking piece, this is one that we don't see so often, the big ashtray from the late 60s, and this was really a massive heavy piece of glass. I mean, Viking in general was heavy because it was molded, but this one is especially heavy and dense, and that's on purpose because even though it's only got room for a single cigarette, it would have been made to use in some institutional place where a lot of people were coming and going, maybe a doctor's office or someplace where, you know, it's going to be a while before we empty this thing, and so that's why it's so big and deep. I've seen them etched or cut for cigars as well, so I think they did both. And it's nice that it's got the label. This sort of a smoky brown color is something we associate with their late production in the mid to late 1970s. To try to keep themselves going, they started introducing different colors because they were really well known for the oranges and the avocados, and when those started to go out of style, they tried every color under the rainbow, and some of these late colors are really the hardest to find. I think $30 to $35 to $40, any of those numbers is possible for this piece.
Oh, good.
Yeah.
$2 church sale.
$2 church sale, yeah. See, you live in the right place. Now, while we're waiting for her to bring her other pieces, we'll take a look at the first page here. She said she had a bunch of ephemera, and we've got $2 bills right off there.
I had clients that would always, I did hair for years, would give me $2 bills.
You know, it's funny. When I conduct estate sales, I always end up getting $2 bills. No other time, but when I conduct an estate sale, every time somebody pays me with the two, I think what it is that they go home, they see something they want, and they're like, where's the money? And they just pull money out of every drawer, and there's always some, they stuck the $2 bill aside because they didn't know what to do with it.
So I felt like, well, I'll leave them in there in case we have to bug out. I got about $20.
Exactly.
Here's a signed Eric Davis baseball card. We actually have, Damon has it, the Pete Rose rookie card. This ticket right here, I went to with Sean O'Reilly in 1985, and it was a triple header, and this was when Pete Rose made his base hit, his record hit.
Oh,
that's what
neat.
This ticket stub is from.
Oh, wow.
And it was standing room only.
Oh my gosh.
And
now-
that place went crazy.
Oh yeah, now that is a really great story because to have a baseball ticket from a regular season game usually wouldn't be considered any big deal,
Right.
but when it's a game where a record was set,
And
that's a pretty huge
got the
deal.
rookie card, and I'm like, where's that rookie card? Because he used to have it up, and then and then just some baseball cards. It's a mixed baggage. Mm-hmm. Inaugural season stamps. My favorite NASCAR driver was Ernie Irvin.
Aw, the Fenton roses. What a nice basket. The way the basket handles are attached is actually a signature and tells us who some of the makers were. How did you get this piece?
A flea market.
Flea market, and it's got the Fenton label in it, so I'm sure they knew what it was. And what did they charge for this?
25.
25. I think that's very reasonable. This really pretty blue with the, it's like a blue slag because you've got a little bit of the white in there.
It's not called like that's a different thing. Acro-agate is
Acro-agate is a different company.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I'm not sure. I just always assumed that Fenton called it blue slag. I don't know if they may have had an official name, and if someone here knows, shout it out. But these would have been done late 60s, early 70s in this color. This logo, this card is definitely a 70s vintage. And what's your feeling about this?
What my feeling is, I'm hyperventilating on the ashtrays you have coming.
Well, let's look at
That's my
those two
feeling.
because they're also blue slag. So we'll take a look at that and then we'll get some values here.
Okay. So this piece is, this is a heavy piece. This is very cool. And the handle, what I find interesting is, and Trudy will correct me if I'm wrong, this is for who made the handle alone.
And applied it, or just
And applied it.
Okay.
That's the handle maker. This is a very cool basket. The color is gorgeous.
Yes.
Blue slag. It's and still, like I tell you, I'm just going nuts over this. This would probably, I don't know, 45, 55.
Oh, good.
Yeah, that's what I was
Yep.
thinking.
Nice.
40 to 60,
Very
I
nice.
think you're right in. And
But the handle on it was called Handler. That was the technical name.
Handler was the name of the
Okay,
handle
so-
maker. Oh, that makes perfect sense. I like that. And then you've got these three, and these all stack. And yeah, look how nice the slag is and the swirl on the bottoms. It really comes through on these pieces. And of course, we know who made it.
Yes.
Is that Fenton? do we
It
think?
definitely is. The hobnails are very pointy, and that's a
okay.
Fenton trademark.
And it has a bullseye. This is a bullseye. Okay? So that's a plus. That one has a bullseye.
Yeah,
Okay.
Oh, nice.
So
they don't all have that.
I'm not book smart, I'm street smart, okay? I can't tell you a lot about this set except I've never seen it, and I sell lots of Fenton. The color is amazing, the bullseye is amazing. People aren't going to have time to look this up, nor will they find it because they're not going to see that color. If I were buying it myself, I would pay upwards to 75 to 150, depending on if somebody was bidding me and I got really worked up.
Yeah, and you know,
I mean, I'm just saying.
and you know, I gotta go with her on this one because she's right. Just as she was saying, oh, no one's gonna find it if they look it up. I'm over here trying to look it up, and she's right. They are not out there. There's nothing listed that looks like this. I've seen them in the white hobnail many
Yeah.
times, but I have not seen them in the slag. So I am going to defer to her enthusiasm because I think they're really great too, and I think I think those numbers all make sense to me.
When Stevie Ray Vaughan died, and you can see that in not too long, it was him and Joe Cocker, and when they would tour, they would switch off headlining. Joe would headline one night and Stevie would headline the other night.
Right.
And then I got to stand backstage, and this is my backstage pass from
Oh, how
1987.
fun! You got to meet him. Oh,
Yeah,
that's
yeah,
neat.
yeah.
He was quite
I sure did. It was a long time ago. He was really cool, and it was really, really neat, and I miss him. Here is my Steven Tyler I Get a Grip tour. I got to go. I go backstage. I know. I don't want to talk about it, but I know a lot of people in the music business.
Uh-huh.
And I have for years, and just some of my Beatle cards, and I know that's just a stock sign. Here's my Greg Allman backstage pass with Greg's
Oh, that's cool.
autograph.
She's got a lot of concert tickets, signed backstage passes, and the kind of stuff that everybody threw away. And she knew people in the music business and was able to get to these things. So this is a
Backstage
very
all the
interesting collection.
Leonard Skinner. Then when I got to hang out with Stephen Wright, and then my Fog Hats signed. I used to date Tony.
Did you really?
Yeah.
Oh,
And
wow.
Here's Roger. I dated Tony for many years.
Oh, that's neat.
And then I've got some personal pictures. This is I went to a party, and that's a party, my personal picture of Robert Plant from back in the day.
How fun.
And this is, I used to be a platform hair designer. I traveled around, and so.
Oh, neat.
Yeah.
So you actually have your name on that one because you
I know what it's
were.
like to be in hotel rooms and loading stuff.
Oh, I bet there's some crazy
Yeah.
stuff. Yes.
Here's my Steve Miller signature from
Oh.
that backstage, Jethro Tull. David Lee Roth, there's not enough time in the day to talk about what happened there.
Yeah, I bet.
And then my Megadeth, and then my Ronnie James Dio, and then Annie's Rock and Roll. And then we get to the back, which are some picks. And I sold a lot of picks. I like my Dio pick, and I sold my Carl Wilson. So I have a few picks. But you said you were a Leon Russell fan?
Oh, yes, I enjoy him.
I kind of keep stuff here.
Oh, that's neat.
And this is something small. So, remember me talking about a lifer?
Uh-huh.
Leon gave me my lifer card.
Oh,
And he
cool.
signed the back.
Leon Russell, Leon Lifer, and there's the signature. When it's your own personal collection, you've got sentimental value
And true memories.
and real memories, and you also have what they call collection effect. So the question is it worth more to sell these pieces individually or to keep them all together because they tell a story not just about these people but about you and your life?
Okay.
And in this case, I would say, especially because it sounds like your heart is into keeping it, it would be worth more to you and probably in the long run more to someone else if it was kept all together.
Okay.
I would recommend, this is going to sound strange, but since we're talking about the group as a collection,
Yeah.
and I mean, you've got some signatures of some famous people. Individually, a signed backstage pass might be $30 or $40, but when you show this whole thing and it relates to your career, if you were to write a little bit, whatever you feel comfortable with, about your story and how you came to get these things and meet these people, that would actually make it interesting on another level to a future collector where they would keep the collection together rather than splitting it
Because
up.
the Greg Allman story is story.
Well, and that's the thing. I'm sure that you
So-
saw some stuff because you were around a bunch of musicians, and we all know the reputation.
I fancied myself as a rock journalist.
Yes.
And I made lots of friends doing that. I ended up with long-term boyfriends then, and then I went to Ibiza.
For insurance purposes, since it's something you plan to keep, if you were going to insure it, I would probably insure it for $1,200 to $1,500. It's really cool, and I think it's a great collection, and
Glad to know
I
that.
think it's really, I think because it says a lot about you, your story being part of it would be really helpful.
Hi. Nice to meet
Hello.
you.
Yeah, good to see you again.
I just want to know how much they are worth.
How much this is worth? Well, this one is a good one, and it's
Yep.
in good condition, and it's got good paint.
Yep.
And the thing that it tells us that is important is it's got 2 dots between Pepsi and
Yeah.
Cola. And that was their logo until 1955.
Yeah.
Then they took 1 dot away. And so you have an earlier piece here.
Yeah.
And what's interesting to me about these, a lot of these were made in the 1930s, and a lot of them were then promptly melted for war effort. So you actually don't see as many of these with the 2 dot as you would expect, considering how long they made them. Pepsi went through a lot of ups and downs. They were not the most popular soda at first, and they actually they almost went out of business right
Right.
before the Depression. And somebody came along and saved them and started, what they did was they made bigger bottles for
Yeah.
the same price. And they had I think the slogan was Pepsi Cola hits the spot 10 full ounces, that's a lot, because they were selling larger bottles, and that's what made them very popular. And so there aren't a ton of these around, not as many as Coca-Cola by a long shot. How did you get it?
Let's say I went to Goodwill
Oh,
and I came across it and I was like, Pepsi Cola. You know what? I'll buy that.
yeah, that's great.
And I was like, it's a perfect piece to buy that.
Do you remember how much it was? Too long ago? Yeah. Well, the important thing is what it is now, and I think I have an idea, but I'm going to see if we can find one that sold recently. Yeah, that's about what I thought. They seem to be going for anywhere between about $90 and $120 now. And that's even without the bottles. So, yeah, you got a good thing.
Yep.
You know, there are so many people interested in collecting diecast, and it's the race cars that do the best. And generally, the thing that makes these collectible, even though they're not super old, is that as soon as the race car driver retires, or like Dale Earnhardt, something happens to them, then all of a sudden the edition is something from the past. And that's why there's collectors for these. I think that one's a pretty nice one. I've seen other Jimmy Spencers. I have a friend who collects these too. And I think he paid $50 or $60 for his. And do you remember what you gave for yours? 25. Yeah. Well, I think you got a good deal. I think you paid about half price.
I got a David Liebley Ring Race Bros Circus Clown.
99. Yeah.
I got some of his programs.
Oh, that's neat. That's interesting.
I can't tell which. I think it's this one he did the black uniform.
Are you particularly interested in this performer? Is that why you collect these?
Yep.
That's neat. What got you interested?
Anyway, me and Mom went to circus way back in the day.
Oh, and you saw these guys?
Yep.
Yeah. Ringling Brothers isn't going anymore. There's other circuses, but Ringling quit about 3 years ago, and I sell down in Florida in the wintertime. And I'll tell you, as soon as they quit the performances, all of this stuff shot up in value. Because Ringling Brothers is no more, and there are people, they actually had a sale and they sold off the things they took with them in the traveling circus, and there were dealers lined up for a mile trying to get in to buy the stuff. The programs, usually I see prices around $15 to $20 each. And this guy, I'm going to see...
He has a black jacket in his music instruments.
Yes, yeah, and it's complete, and that's important that it has all the pieces with it.
He actually has two.
Got two.
Oh, that's great.
It's a little different.
And you can see the little bit white on his face there and the little red cheeks there.
Yep. Oh, that's neat.
You can tell his shirt and his vest is silk.
Yeah, they're actually really well made. I mean, the thing is no one ever takes them out and plays with them, but they are very well made. I'm seeing prices around $50 to $75 on the clown, the piece itself now.
Yep.
So, very cool.
Thanks.
Yeah, thank you very much. I really enjoyed it. I'm glad you brought some stuff.
Thanks.
You just got this
just
across
got
the
it.
street. There's a very nice antique mall across the street from here that I'm hoping to see tomorrow because I haven't been able to get in. These are really neat Overshot glass pieces as well. Overshot, you notice it's got this texture because they actually will, they essentially put, I guess you would almost call it like glass frit.
Yes.
And then they melt it again, so you get this texture, and it's very rough and pebbly. And this piece, which is a little older, it feels almost sharp to the touch. You can feel the little pieces on it. This one has a nice sort of a silver plate bail and handle there, and this it probably had a metal lid originally.
I know, but I wanted
But
it
you know
anyway.
what? It's perfectly cute without.
I talked him down to 90 from 130.
90 on the compote. That's a
Yes.
good price.
I thought that was reasonable.
I think that's very reasonable, and I think you
And
actually.
I like the color. It's cranberry, and I went around and I couldn't find
I like the color,
cracks or
and
chips.
I don't see any either. They always tell us to use our palms because your fingertips get calluses, and sometimes you miss. And you have to be careful on Overshot because the edge is rough anyway to make sure you're not missing.
Really
This is in
hold it
great
up.
shape.
And that's cranberry.
It's a great color and a hard color to find. Cranberry back then had to have, well, even now, you had to put 22 or 24 karat gold in the batch to make the color.
I got cranberry. This is my largest piece now.
It's a great piece, and you know, I think it was a little underpriced at the 130 they had on it. I think it
It was
could
the
be
only one they had in there.
I think it could be 150, and you got it for 90. So I
He
think
said
that's
they
a
don't
great
ever get it,
thing.
that people,
You just don't see Overshot. It went into collections when I was first in the trade in the early 90s. We'd see a few pieces, and people would just snap them up, and I don't think they'd let go of them.
Do you know what
what this is for. It's the way this is shaped. To me, it seems like did something sit in there?
It had something,
I
yeah,
know by the
because
way-
this
yeah,
this
there's
looks
something
almost
was
like
in
an
it.
etch, but I think it's
No.
actually. Oh no, it is a design. No, that's
Oh,
an
no.
etched design. I'm looking
Just
at
look
it
at
again
this.
from an angle now, and now I see it. It's actually like a snowflake. So no, they just did it in the middle as a decoration. This didn't have anything in the middle of it.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
that's,
so this
that's
is actually a
interesting.
snowflake design that they etched in here, and I'll bet the reason they did it is because they figured the bowl would be a little plain and they wanted it to match the design
All
of the
right,
rest
I've
of the
never
piece.
seen that, and
That
I'm
is
so glad
unusual.
I didn't notice
I'm
that.
glad you asked me about that. That's
But-
fun.
Okay.
And then the
this
little
is a
piece,
sugar.
yep, the little pedestal sugar is probably English. Yes, a lot of these were. And I would say that your value on that is probably around, probably 45 to 50 without the lid.
Okay.
And maybe more like 75, 85 if you could find the lid would have been very simple, and even biscuit barrels might have the same lid, so you may just find a lid.
Well, thank you.
That was so fun. I think you
I'm
brought
glad-
really interesting things, and actually everybody did. This was
Everybody
a really
did.
nice
Absolutely.
grouping of items
Everybody
that we
brought
got to see
awesome
here.
things.
Thanks for joining me again in the fun and fascinating antique community, here where online meets the real world. Please click the subscribe button below, click the bell to be notified when new videos upload, leave a comment below, and hit thumbs up to like this video. Links to our online social media and our items for sale are in the description. This is George at the Antique Nomad. Bye for now.